Hey everyone, it's Rajiv and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be giving my book review of A Lonely Harvest by Perumal Murugan. Before I start talking about the book, I would like to say that I post book-related videos and reviews regularly in my channel. So if you enjoy watching this video and you enjoy watching book-related videos, then please do like and subscribe. So this is one of the two sequels to the author's previous book in the series, which is One Part Woman. And if you want my opinions about One Part Woman, then I will post the link to the video for that separately because I don't want to discuss it over again in this video. Anyway, since the first book ended in sort of a cliffhanger where we really don't know what happened to Kali and his relationship with Ponna, the author did something very interesting in that rather than putting it as a trilogy or as a series, he actually made two different stories and released it as two different books, with one scenario where Kali is there and in another scenario where Kali is not there. So the story where Kali is actually present is called A Trial by Silence, and this book, which I am giving a video review for, is the one where Kali is not present in the storyline, which is A Lonely Harvest. I'm going to try my best to explain the synopsis of this book without having to give any spoilers for those who have not read it, because this book is sort of a continuation to what happens in the previous book. So it's going to be very hard talking about what happens in this book without fully understanding what happens in the previous novel if you have not read it. In this story, the whole plot mainly revolves around Ponna because Kali is not present in her life anymore, even though he appears in a few scenes here and there. And the story is mainly about how she struggles to survive without him. Initially, she just tries to take it one day at a time, but she really does not feel like doing anything without him because he is always present in her mind, and whatever she looks at reminds her of him. So she is very unwilling and she feels like she is dead inside to do anything at all. And then one day, Ponna realizes that she is pregnant and she knows that deep down it has to be Kali's baby. And the word soon spreads around the village and everyone gets to know about her situation. And people start to wonder if it is actually Kali's baby or if it is with that person who she was with during that night of the festival. The story initially starts off where she has difficulty adjusting to her life without Kali, and then she realizes that she is pregnant, and to make matters worse, she has to stand up in front of this meeting held by the village council to convince everyone that she is actually pregnant with her husband's baby and not anyone else's, and she needs to get their approval as well, otherwise she will be excommunicated from the village. And the whole story mainly revolves around her life and the decisions that she makes and what happens to her. While I did not think that this book was as good as the previous book, One Part Woman, it did have its moments here and there. The main thing which I really liked about the story is how we get to know a lot more about the supporting characters other than Kali and Ponna, whom we did not get to read much of in the previous book, and who, in my opinion, they got redeemed also in this book because I really hated some of these characters and for what they did to the two main protagonists in the previous novel. For example, I really did not like Sirai and Valai, who is the mother and the mother-in-law of Ponna, and also Muttu, who is her brother, because they did a lot of meddling and tried to interfere between Kali and Ponna in the first book. And I really did not like all the schemes that they came up with. And even though in this book they are still slightly annoying and they do talk a lot, they do show that they really care about her and they are willing to support her and be by her side no matter what. I also liked how the author has realistically portrayed all of the emotions that Ponna goes through in the novel, from not having Kali in her life and then to hear about all the village people's opinion about her and how she gets pregnant and finally gets what she wants and what she was craving for after so many years, and how it's such a bittersweet moment for her, to the events that actually happen to when she has the baby. Okay, and on a side note, I really enjoyed the uncle's character, the uncle Nalayan, who appears in the story, because it was just so entertaining to hear about his life and all the scandals that he has had, especially the affair that he has with his brother's wife. In fact, it was so entertaining to see how she becomes obsessed with her brother-in-law and how she goes after him. And it was a nice change from the otherwise very depressing storyline of Ponna. Even Vengai, who is that girl who comes to Ponna in the second half of the book to help her around in the field, she also seemed pretty interesting, even though we did not get to see much of her. So yeah, I thought there were a lot of interesting supporting characters in this book, which kind of tried to balance for Kali not being the central focus anymore. The author, of course, has written this book in such a simple and breezy style when he has used all the native dialects, which makes it very entertaining and very interesting to read. There are a few things which I thought could have been done much better in this book, which is also the same reasons as to why I did not like it as the previous book. First of all, I feel like the whole paranormal ghost element thing could have been avoided. So there is this one pivotal scene in the book where Kali appears as a ghost to Ponna and he supports her emotionally, and she thinks that this is the main reason as to why she got pregnant and is deciding to have the baby. I mean, I thought the story was going so well, and then suddenly this weird ghost thing happens in between, and I just felt like it did not blend in well with the storyline and it could have been written in a much better manner. And initially thought, okay, maybe Purna is actually picturing Kali in a psychological manner and she imagines him appearing as a ghost to her. But there is actually a few paragraphs where the author shows from Kali's perspective how he is a ghost and how he is trying to support her even after all this time. And even, let's say, in fact, all of this did happen, I just found it very hard to believe that Kali would have just forgiven Purna like that after all the betrayal that happened, which is the reason why he is not there in the first place. So it was just kind of strange to see him so loving and caring towards his wife as if nothing had happened. Like I said, there is also this major chunk in the plot where Ponna has to prepare herself to come in front of the village council to proclaim that the baby is in fact Kali's baby. And there is just so much build-up that happens towards this whole event. And when the event actually happens, it is very disappointing and nothing dramatic happens and it just finishes so quickly, and I just felt disappointed by the whole thing because I was expecting more of a bang in the whole event. And lastly, I just felt like this book was too depressing at times. Like I said before, I know the author has provided a lot of importance to the supporting characters in this book to compensate for Kali not being there. But considering that Kali was a major person in the first book, it still felt like there was a void in this book that only his character could have filled. And no matter how many supporting characters the author tried to push in, I still missed Kali a lot and I wish he had been more prominent in this book. So overall, while A Lonely Harvest is not as good as One Part Woman, it did have its moments, but I just did not enjoy it as much as the previous novel. So for that reason, I give this book a rating of only 3 out of 5 stars. If you have read this book, or you have read One Part Woman, or you have read any of Perumal Murugan's books or any books related to that, anything, please do share your thoughts and comments on the section below. And again, if you enjoyed watching this video, then please do like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye.